Right, right. Today, we'll discuss one of the frequent and important topic in Azure Data Bricks. Okay, right. So let me open the document. Right. Today, we'll discuss about one of the important scenario and commonly regularly we are doing this activity. Okay, right. The scenario is read the data from Azure Blob storage to Azure Data Bricks. Azure Data Bricks, right? Sometimes due to uh, business need, so we need to read the data from Azure Blob storage or else Azure Data Lake Generation 2, right? We need to read the data from Azure Blob storage to Azure Data Lakes, and we need to read the data from Azure Data Lake Gen to Azure Data Bricks. Azure Blob storage to Azure Data Bricks, Azure ADLS Gen to Azure Data Bricks, right? Today we'll discuss about this scenario for how we are going to read the data from Azure Blob storage to Azure Data Bricks. Azure Data Bricks. To achieve this, we need a few mandatory service we need to create into the Microsoft Azure portal. Right. The first one is Azure Blob storage. We need to create one service into the Azure portal, right? That is blob storage. Blob storage. Next, we need to create the Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks. Okay, Azure Databricks. Next, and one more important service we need to create under the Microsoft Azure portal, that is keyvault. Right? Keyvault means these blob storage having some sensitive information, right? That sensitive information we are going to store into keyvault. Keyvault. Right. Okay. I think you guys are aware of source and destination. Source and destination. Right? For example, source means, for example, I'm in Hyderabad. Hyderabad. Actually, I'm planning to travel to Bangalore. Bangalore, right? My source is Hyderabad. My destination is Bangalore, right? Bangalore, right? Right. Same like here, my source is Azure Blob storage. My source is Azure Blob storage. So I want to move my data from Azure Blob storage to Azure Databricks. Sorry. So I have a source is Azure Blob storage, and this blob storage having the two containers, source container and a destination container, source container and destination container. I want to move the my source data into destination container. My source container having some CSV files. I want to move those CSV files into, right, those CSV files into destination container. So here, so we are going to create the two containers, source container and destination container. In the source container, we'll maintain some CSV files, right? So with the help of Azure Data Bricks concept, so we are going to read the CSV, source CSV data under the blob storage. Next, we are going to write the data into destination container or as target container. Right? Target container. Okay. Right. Let me create the storage account into the Microsoft Azure portal. Create storage account. Scroll down. Resource group. Let me create one resource group, test RG. Click on OK. Right. Storage account name. CSV storage data bricks account. Okay. Right. Next region, East US. And performance level, obviously, we need to select the standard only. And right. While creating the storage account, we have multiple options like LRS, GRS, ZRS, GZRS. Right? LRS, GRS, ZRS, GZRS. Okay. Right. So we'll discuss later these things and all, because while we storing whatever we are data. For example, if I select the LRS, means it is a local. It is a local. For example, in my storage account, I have uploaded one CSV file. Right. I have uploaded one CSV file. Okay. Right. This CSV file is going to this CSV file is going to stored under this region. Under this region obviously having the data center, right? Data center, right? Under the data center, that CSV file is going to store on three copies of data. Three copies of data. LRS means local redundant storage. Local redundant storage. If you select a LRS, the cost is very low. The cost is very low, right? Right. So this, whatever we are storing our data into the storage account, if you select the LRS option, right? For example, if I upload my any CSV, one CSV file, that CSV file is going to store into east west under one data center. Under one data center, three copies of data it is going to store, means three CSV files uh, going to stored under the data center, under the data center, right? Some situation, one CSV file is going to down, right? Still we have two copies of data. Two copies of data. One is original and two are duplicates. Two are duplicates. Like the way backend it will happen if you select the LRS option. LRS option. But LRS is not recommended, not recommended for in real time. Like if you are doing some POC or dev environment level, you can select the LRS level. And if you are trying to move the UAT or prod environment, LRS is not recommended. LRS is not recommended, right? Next we have GRS, ZRS. We'll discuss later. We'll discuss one by one later. Okay, right. Next, click on Advanced tab. Advanced tab. So we are not going to select the ADLS Gen2. Click on Networking, Data Protection, Encryption, Tags, and Review Create. Review Create. All right. There is an error in Basics tab. Let me go back to the. Okay. The field can contain only lower letters and numbers. Name must be between 3 to 24 characters. Review. Okay. Create. Create. Right. It will take some time to create. Parallelly, let me open another Microsoft Azure portal and another tab. Okay. Here I'm going to create the Azure Data Bricks. Azure Data Bricks. Click on Create. Okay. Let me select the existing resource group name and workspace name. Workspace name. All right. A test workspace. So workspace means, so all the team members are going to work together under this workspace. Okay. Next region is US. Pricing tier. Let me select the free trial. Final one, now manage resource group. Test sample group. Networking, encryption, tags and review create. It will take some time to create. Okay. Parallelly, let me open another new tab. Here I am going to create one of the new service called Azure uh, keyvault. Let me go for a search in keyvault. Let me open keyvault. Keyvault means sensitive information we are going to store into a keyvault like username, passwords, certificates, and SQL connection strings, Synapse SQL connection strings, right? Such type of information we are going to store into under keyvault. Keyvault. Okay, right. Right. Azure Key Vault is a cloud-based service used to manage the keys and secrets and certificates. Right. Key Vault eliminates the need for developers to store secure information in their code. It allows to centralize the storage of your application secrets, which greatly reduce the chances that secret may be leaked. Right. Leaked. Okay. Right. It is backend. It following the Key Vault allows you to securely store secrets and keys backend by hardware security models or HSMS. There is an algorithm they are following to encrypt this data. Okay. The HSMC used for Federal Information Processing Standard FIF is 142 level 2 validation. Okay. Microsoft is going to take care of the securities, right? Firewalls and sensitive information, everything Microsoft going to take care. Okay. Right. While creating the keyword, so we need to give some mandatory information like automatically we are following the hierarchy. Okay. Let me select the resource group name here, test.rg, and keyword name. Keyword name. Test world. Okay. Storage. Right. Next to region and pricing type standard. Okay. Click on next. Right. Right. While configuring the keyword, so there are two types of permissions mode available. One is RBAC and vault access policy. RBAC is recommended for uh, whatever we are doing nowadays project. RBAC is recommended, right? And earlier we used to select the one of the option called vault access policy. If you want, you can go and search, give the vault access policy as well. RBAC means mainly it is access point of view, it is recommended. Access point of view, permissions point of view. With the help of RBAC, so we are going to give the access for service level, role level, user level, group level. We are going to give the access for the any services like key, not only keyword, right? With the help of RBAC, role-based access control, we can give the access to the multiple Microsoft Azure services, right? With the help of this RBAC, so we are going to restrict this authentication and authorization things and all. Okay, right. So let me select the vault access policy today. Okay, or else, okay, let me select this vault access policy. Right. Next, we have the resource access. Obviously. So while storing your virtual machines, disk volumes, or usernames, passwords, and in real time, DevOps is going to deploy this all the resources, right? That resource having some sensitive information, they are going to store into the key vault, right? Such type of information they are going to store into the keyword, right? In the resource access level, for example, if you want to deploy your virtual missions, right? You can select this. You can select this option, or else if you want to deploy your ARM templates, Azure Resource Manager templates, deployment point of view, you can select this option, or else you are going to store your, for example, you have a virtual mission. That virtual mission is having some sensitive information, right? That virtual machine having the disks, right? Disk means it contains some value, means it having the data, right? They are going to encrypt the data, right? Such type information they are going to store into the under key, right? For this also, we need to select this option. These options is not recommended for us. These things which will be taken care by the DevOps team. Okay, right. Next, access policy. Access policy. For example, at the time of Azure Data Factory to create the pipelines, right? So obviously we have the source and destinations, right? Source is a storage account. Destinations maybe our Azure SQL, right? For moving the data from storage account to Azure SQL, backend we are going to store that sensitive information into the key vault, right? Right. While storing the sensitive information into the key vault, definitely we need a policies to provide the access, right? Here we need to create one policy. We need to create one policy And we are going to give the access for Azure Data Factory point of view level. We'll see at the time of Azure Data Factory class. Okay, right. Let me select the next option. Even if you want to access your keyword securely, privately, right? So with the help of virtual network also, we can achieve this option. So let me click on the selected network. Here there is an option called virtual network. With the help of this virtual network, we are going to connect our services, our applications, our resources securely and privately. Okay, let me select the all network. Next, review create, right? Keyword means whatever we are having the sensitive information, usernames, passwords, secrets, certificates, right? Such type of information we are going to store under the keyword. Okay. Microsoft is going to provide the algorithm for this keyword to encrypt the data. It will take some time to deploy this resource. Right. Okay. Let me click on this go to resources. Here, this tab belongs to storage account. This tab belongs to Azure Data Bricks. Okay. This tab belongs to keyword. Right. I'm doing multitasking because for creating the resources, it will take some time, right? So instead of wasting our time, so I just open another new tab and try to create the new resources. Okay, right. So here we have three tabs. One tab belongs to storage account, one tab belongs to Databricks, and one tab belongs to keyword, right? First, let me go to the Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks. Please scroll down. There is an option called Launch Workspace. Launch Workspace. Let me launch the workspace because it will take some time to create the cluster, right? It will take more than 2 minutes to create the cluster into the Azure Databricks. Okay, right. So in the left side, we have multiple options: workspace, recents, catalog, workflow, compute. Let me click on this compute, right? In compute, we are going to create the cluster, right? For example, we have sources, storage account having some source container having some CSV file, some data, source container having the data, right? So the requirement is, so we need to move the source container data, CSV files into target container data, right? Here, with the help of this Azure Data Bricks, we are going to read the data and write the data into target location. For this, for handling this type of workloads, we need a cluster. We need development cluster. That is all-purpose compute cluster. All-purpose compute. Okay. Let me create one compute. While creating the cluster, we have multiple options available. Right? Multiple options available. Let me select the personal compute. If you select the personal compute, so there is no options for minimum workers and maximum workers. So we have only one worker node. Okay, right. Let me give the cluster name. Test storage cluster. Right. In real time, they are giving the naming conventions like project name, for example, project A, right? Every project having some unique IDs, right? Right. Let me give 1, 2, 3, 4. Dev environment. Okay, right. Personal compute. Okay, right. While creating the cluster, we need to give some mandatory informations like performance, node types, right? And tags and all. Okay. Runtime version is important. Right? We have multiple versions available here. So we have three tabs: standard, machine learning, and uncategorized. Machine learning and uncategorized. So we are going to mainly talk about the standard because every day we are doing the work under the standard only. Standard only. Here we have multiple versions available. Multiple versions available. Okay. So if you see the lower version 7.3, 9.1 something and right. So earlier they are giving the previous days we have these versions, right? Every time they are providing new versions, right? For example, in the 7.3, there is a issues with some of the resources, right? So they are going to give the they are given another new version name, that is 9.1. So whatever earlier they are facing any issues, any other services, right? They are trying to resolve those things in this 7.3, and they are fixed those issues and given the latest version, that is 9.1. This 9 point having the so previous versions issues, fixed issues plus new features, right? In the 10.1 also having the previous versions fixed issues plus new features. 11.3 previous version, fixed issues plus new features, same like. Okay. In real time, we are not going to select the latest things and all. At least two or one, at least 13.1 or 13.2, which is recommended. Because so as of now, there is no issues in 13.1 or 13.2, right? So 13.1 or 13.2 is recommended for this non-prod environments and all. Even 13 also it is fine. 13 also is fine. All right. Okay. Let me select the 13.1. Okay, right. If you select the 13.1, we have Scala 2.2 and Spark 3.40. Spark 3.40 and Scala 2.12. I will explain later for this option center. Okay, right. Let me select the runtime versions and node type. Node type. Obviously, cluster means group of missions or mission, right? Every mission having some configurations, right? Processor, hard disk, memory, right? So for this, we need to select the uh, uh, node type as a node types details. Okay, let me select the general purpose. 14 GB is enough. Okay, right. Create compute. Create compute. Okay, it will take some time to create the cluster. It will take some time to create the cluster. Okay. Okay. Parallelly, let me jump into the storage account. Storage account. Right now I am in storage account. Storage account. In the left side, there is option called container. There is option called container. Okay. Here I am going to create the two containers. Two containers. Source container and target container. Right? Source data and target data. One more container, target data. Target data. Okay. Source container, source data container, and a target data container. Target data container. Let me click on the source data container. Here, here there is option called upload. Here there is option called upload. Right? Let me upload any one CSV file. Browse for CSV. Okay. Right. Right. Upload. Upload. Right. Just now I have uploaded one CSV file. CSV means comma separated value. So in real time, we are going to handle, depends upon the business demand, we are going to handle the multiple file formats. We have dedicated session for that one. Okay, like we have CSV files, JSON files, AVRO files, Parquet2 files, Delta Lake files format, right? We have multiple formats available. Okay. So CSV means comma separated value. Let me open this document. Click on edit, right? So this CSV file having the data. This CSV file having the data like player ID, player name, player highest score, number of matches, right? It's look like a table format. Table format. CSV file means comma separated value, comma separated value. These CSV files which is available under source data, under the source data. So with the help of Azure Data Bricks, so we are going to read the source data under the CSV file and write the data into target data. Target data means our destination. Target data is our destination, right? The requirement is, so we need to move the source data container CSV data into target data container, right? For this, we need to create the two mount points into the Azure Data Bricks. In Azure Data Bricks, the first step is we need to create the two mount points, one for source data and one for target data, right? Mount means it is going to refer the data, right? For example, here I have 10 containers. I have 10 containers. So we need to tell, right, for Azure Databricks, hey, Azure Databricks, my source is this container. Please go and access this container. Under this container, we have multiple CSV file, right? You need to select specific CSV file, right? For with the help of mount, we can achieve this thing. Mount is going to refer the particular container or particular folder. Okay, right. Next, we need to create one more mount point for target data. For moving the destination, we need to specify the target data. So we are going to create the dedicated mount point for source data and one more dedicated mount point for target data. So here we are going to create the two mount point for source data and target data. Source data and target data, right? For example, so if you are reading the data from source data, right, and write the data into source data only, right? Your source and destination both are same. For example, you have a source data container. In this container having subfolder like parent folder and child folder. In the parent folder having the CSV file, right? You are moving the parent folder into the CSV child folder, right? For this scenario, we need only one mount point is enough. Only one mount point is enough. So mount point is dedicated for one container. Okay. Any questions as of now?
హలో
Yes, please.
సార్ అది సిఎస్వి ఫైల్ ఉంది కదా
Okay.
అది మనం ముందే టైప్ చేసి సేవ్ చేసుకుని పెట్టుకోవాలా?
Yes, and the client is going to give this data, right?
Okay.
Right. So actually, with the help of Azure Data Factory pipelines, we are going to move the data from on-prem to our into this container. For example, your source may be on-prem or file system or any REST API or Salesforce, some other thing, right? With the help of Azure Data Factory pipelines, we are going to move that data into this storage account container. For doing your POCs and all, just I will upload this CSV files into your respective Google Drive. Just you can download that CSV file and upload it to storage account container. For practice purpose, just you need to upload that CSV file under the container. Got it right?
Yes.
If you are not clear, please let me know.
Please.
Thank you. Others?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, right. Right. Here, cluster is created successfully. Okay, right. Okay, now it is running mode. Cluster is running mode. Okay, right. Let me click on the workspace. Here we have a home and workspace and repository. Okay. Home and workspace and repository. Okay. In the workspace, let me click on the right click option. Here we have the options like create, copy, share, open new tab. In the create option, we have a option called notebook. Notebook. Let me click on the notebook. In the notebook, we are going to write the data. We are going to write the data. Write the data. Okay. Right. Like Java developers, they are using Eclipse, right? .NET team, they are going to use the Visual Studio, right? Python developers, they are going to use the Python. Same like for our Azure Data Engineer, especially if you are working on Azure Data Bricks, we need to write the code into the notebooks. Notebooks. So simply notebook. Let me give the storage. Read the storage account data. The notebook name is read the storage account data. Storage account data. Okay, right. Every notebook having the these languages. Every notebook supported these four languages. Python, Scala, SQL, and R. Python, SQL, Scala, R. Based upon the business demand, client requirement, we are going to select any one of these technologies. Any one of these technologies. Okay, right. For example, if you want to write the code Python related, or if you want to write the code which is related to Pyspark, right? So you need to select the Python option. You need to select the Python option and make sure Python is the default one. Python is the default language for this notebook. If you want to, for example, the client requirement is, so you need to write the code into SQL, right? Please select the SQL option here, confirm. SQL, right? You can write the code, SQL related code, for example, create database name, test database. The syntax which is related to SQL, right? Like select star, like let me create one table, create table employee, right? We need to give the column names, right? For example, employee ID, employee underscore ID, integer, right? Next, employee name, right? Where here, right? For example, 15. Okay. Like the way we need to write the SQL related syntax. For example, if you want to execute SQL related stuff and all, let me run this cell. Click on hello. Right? It's showing as okay. Right? This databases is created under the default place. Here we have the data option. So we'll discuss later those things. Okay. Here today our main intention is to we are going to read the storage account data. Okay. For example, um, you just selected as a SQL, but you are trying to write the Python code or else Pyspark code. Let me write Pyspark code. Spark.read.format. Or else Spark.read.format. Right? If I specify this syntax is throwing error, right? For this we need, for example, you just mention as a SQL, right? You are trying to write the Pyspark code or else Python code, right? Python code. Okay. You need to specify the magic comments. We need to specify the magic comments like Python, right? So if I specify the magic commands in the cell, the error is gone. Okay, right. No worries. We have separate dedicated for session for these things and okay. Let me select the Python. Okay, right, Python. Now we have data which is available in source data. So we have the one CSV file. We have the one CSV file. Okay, right. For reading the data from the blob storage and writing the data from the blob storage, we need to create the mount point. We need to create the mount point, right? But in real time, right? Even it is a normal blob storage or ADLS Gen2, right? Right? It is a normal blob storage or ADLS Gen2. It having some sensitive information, right? We are not going to specify directly that sensitive information into the Azure Data Bricks. Azure Data Bricks. Okay. For creating the mount point, we need to give the container name, storage account name, and also it having some access keys. It having some access sensitive information, right? See, if I open the access key, it's showing as encrypted, or else it hiding, right? It hiding. If you click on show, right, we are able to see the key. We are able to see the secret key, right? For and in real time, if you specify the key name and access key name and the storage account name and container name into the and the key name, definitely everyone can able to see this sensitive information, right? So to avoid this type of things and all, we are going to store this type of keys into Azure key, right? We are not going to specify the hard. We are not going to directly specify this key information into the database, right? Right? So we are going to store this sensitive key information into the key vault. Key vault. Let me copy this key. Let me copy this key. Right now I am in Azure Storage account. Under the Azure Storage account, if you scroll down the left side, there is an option called network and security and networking. Under the security and networking, we have a third option called access keys. That access key is having the one key, right? One key, right? We need to click on the show option. We need to click on the show option, right? It's showing the key information. It's showing the key information. So let me copy this key. Let me copy this key. Okay, right. I copy this key and I jumped into the keyword. I jumped into the keyword. Right now I'm in Azure keyword. Right now I am in Azure keyword. Azure keyword. Okay. In Azure keyword, in the left side, we have a option called objects. Objects. That objects having the secrets. Secrets. Click on the secrets. Click on the secrets. So if I click on the secrets, in the top, there is an option called generate and import. Generate and import. Click on generate and import option. Here we have multiple options. We have two options. While uploading your data, while storing your data into the keyword, there are two types of options available. One is manual and certificate. If you have any certificates like SSL certificates, those type of things, just you can click on the certificate and you can upload that certificate into this secret place. But as of now, we don't have any certificates. We are talking about the keys. We are talking about the blob storage key, right? It's asking the name. Let me give the one name, blob key, secret value. Just now we copied the storage account key name, right? Let me paste that key into the secret value. For example, uh, in real time, while creating the secret, we need to specify the activation date and expiry date. Activate date and expiry date. Based upon the business demand, we need to specify the activation date and expiry date. Whether it is 3 months or 6 months or 1 month or 1 year or 2 years, we need to specify. Set activation date, today date only. Okay. And expiry date, let me give the 2 years. Activation date there is 9/11/2023 and expiry date 9/11/2015. 25, sir, 2025. I don't want 2 years things and all. Let me It's 2000. 2024. 2024. Enough for me. Enough for me. Okay. Right. Click on create. Click on create. So if you specify the sect activation date is today date and expiry date is 2024 on this date. On this date means after this date, our secret is going to expire. Our secret is going to expire. In real time, definitely we are able to face con uh, some common issues. Some common issues, maybe pipeline failure issues, reading the data, writing the data, right? So we are able to see the some of the common issues for this dedicated Azure keyword. We need to check this activate date and expiry date, right? If the expiry date is done, you need to create one more secret here. You need to create one more secret here. Okay, right. Let me create the secret, right? Now blob key is created successfully. Blob key is created successfully. This blob key is dedicated for storage account. This blob key is dedicated for storage account, right? This blob key having sensed information. This blob key having the sensed information. Okay, right. Okay, right. So right now we are in Azure Data Bricks. Azure Data Bricks. Okay, let me copy this URL. Copy this URL and paste the URL in another browser. Another browser. Okay. In Azure Data Bricks. Just now we are doing some. Just now we are stored some sensitive information into the key vault, right? Key vault, right? While accessing this keywords information, into the Azure Databricks, we need to follow one strategy. We need to follow one strategy. Right? Right? Here our source is storage account. Here our source is our storage account. This storage account having the data. Right? This source data having CSV data. Right? For sensitive information for the storage account, we just injected into the keyword. We just stored into this keyword. The keyword name is blobkey. Our source is storage account, right? Under storage account, we have source data and direct data. We are trying to read the source data into the Databricks, right? But in middle, we have a keyword. Right? So there is no direction connection. There is no direct connection for this blob storage and the Databricks, right? Because just now we have stored this sensitive information into the keyword, right? Before connecting to the storage account, first we need to connect the keyword through Databricks to keyword, right? First we need to connect the keyword. The first step is Databricks to keyword. We need to connect the keyword first. For this, we need to do some one activity. Okay. It is somewhat difficult to understand and difficult to set up on initial days. Okay. Right. See, if you see this above URL, if you see above this URL, right now we are in workspace under notebook. Our intention is, our requirement is, we need to connect the keyword first. Azure Databricks to keyword, right? We need to connect to keyword first. Okay. For this, we need to do one activity. We need to do one activity. We have the one URL. Right? URL. Please try to remove this URL under this notebook. Okay. Please try it, or else click on Databricks. Please click on this Databricks option. Right now we are in another tab. Please click on Databricks home home option, home option. Now, if you see this URL, right, we have the onboarding and we have there it generating one number. Finally, it having some hash. Finally, it having some hash. Okay. We need to edit this URL. We need to edit this URL for connecting your key vault to read the data from the Databricks, right? So we need to edit this URL. We need to edit this URL because in the Azure Data Bricks, there is a concept called create secret scope. There is an option called secret scope, but I don't know, still they are not giving direct option, right? We have to create the workspace, to create the compute, to create the notebook. We have the UA option, graphical representation, we have the option. But for creating the secrets and connecting the secrets into the Azure Databricks, there is no option. There is no UA option. There is no graphical option, right? We need to edit this URL. We need to edit this URL. Okay. Let me open the document. Okay. All right. This is the scenario we are trying to achieve, right? So the step one is we already create the storage account. Already created storage account. Under the storage account, we just uploaded one CSV file. One CSV file. Okay. And also we already created one keyword. Under the keyword, we created one blob key. And I just now, few minutes back, we pasted this the sensitive information into the keyword, right? Second step also completed. Okay, right? We already done this activity. Let me scroll down. Okay, this step also completed. Now we are able to see the blob key. Let me scroll down. Right. Okay. Right. Third step. Under Azure Data Bricks, under root path, remove the right to left side until .NET. Next, give the .NET/secret/createScope. Right. Click on until secret scope. Every day we are doing same activity, right? No worries, guys. So you will get to know. Let me read the document carefully. I think I have uploaded. ADP. Then other document. Mention. ADLS Gen 2. There is a dedicated document for the ADLS Gen 2. Yes. Okay. .NET/ let me copy this URL. Paste here. Click on. For or else. Yes. In the below document under the below it we have the URL. Yes, we need to follow this examples. Okay, let me cross check again this example. Click on Databricks. Okay, so string.struct. Right. Okay, let me compare this URL. Okay. Right. https://adp. So we have the ID, and under the .NET Azure databricks.net. So we need to remove this onboarding option. Onboarding. Right. Next. Under this, after this number, we need to copy this thing and paste here. No worries. I will share this document. For everyone to remember this thing, somewhat is difficult. Okay. Now it's showing as create secret scope. In Azure Databricks, there is no direct option to create this secret scope. Right? This is the one of the biggest challenge every day we are facing. But if you keep on trying to doing every day, no worries. But better you can try to maintain the document, or else you can maintain this URL in one place, right? Your system or your notebook. Okay, just you need to change the URL. Right? So for accessing your data from the source data, anyway, obviously this sensitive information we are going to store into the key vault, right? While accessing the Databricks to the key vault, we need to do this activity. We need to create the secret scope first. No worries, guys. We have separate sessions for all those things. Okay, right. Let me create the AKV connection. Today our agenda is to read the data from one. Actually, I'm planning to cover one real-time usage for every day. Okay. So, right. Scope connection is AKV connection, and now it's asking Azure key vault details. Right? We need to pass the DNS name and resource ID. Right? DNS name and resource ID. This Azure key vault having this DNS name and resource ID. Let me jump into the Azure key vault. In the Azure key vault, please click in the left side, try to scroll down. There is option called properties. Click on the properties. So we have the vault URL and resource ID. So whatever I am doing, right? So everything this document contain, no worries. Everything this, I already shared the screenshots and notes here, right? After the class, I will share this document. Okay, right. So here we need to pass the DNS name and resource ID. Those are options which is available in under the key vault. In the key vault, in the left side settings, there is option called properties. If you click on the properties, we are able to see the vault URL and resource ID. Vault URL means this is the DNS resource, this DNS ID. Let me copy the vault URL. If you see the vault URL, https://storage.vault.azure.net. Right? This is a vault URL. But in Databricks, it's asking DNS name. Right? In the text box, they are highlighting, right? They are highlighting like https://xx.vault.azure.net. You need to give this related Azure.net related, right? Let me paste here. Vault URL means DNS name. URL means DNS name. Now again, it's asking resource ID. Let me jump into the keyword and copy the resource ID and paste into the Databricks. Okay, let me paste this resource ID. Okay, right. These two things completed successfully. Click on create. Once if you click on the create, automatically the page will be gone. Right? There is no option to see this scope name in the graphical level. In the programmatically through commands level, so we need to read this secret scopes. Click on OK. Okay, click on OK. Now there is no option to read this secret scopes and with the help of DB utilities commands. So we need to read this secret scope. Okay. So I will explain later for this DB utilities commands and okay. Right. In one or two sessions, I'm not going to cover each and everything. right? It will take more than 1 week or 10 days to cover all these basics and each and every option, okay? Because we have only a limited time, right? In 1.5 hours, we need to discuss one real-time use case, okay? Right, right. Now we are successfully stored our storage account sensitive information into the key vault, and we are successfully connect the key vault to databricks to key vault, databricks to key vault, databricks to key vault. Let me open the document. The fourth step is we need to create the mount point. We need to create the mount point. Let me paste the code into here. In real time, for doing the most of the activities, we are just doing copy paste only. Because so for remembering each and everything, it's very difficult, and we are able to see lot of errors. This Databricks community or Microsoft Azure community, they are providing the dedicated code. So in real time, most of the projects we are using this code only. Okay, please try to practice this code only. Okay, right. So we have a separated concept which is available in Azure Data Bricks, that is DB utilities. With the help of DB utilities, right, we can connect the secrets. For example, if we want to move the data from one source to another source, so we have utilities commands, move command, copy command, right, to see the content, right, to modify the content. We have the dedicated commands available. Those commands which comes under the DB utilities command. DB utilities commands. Okay, right. Here we have code. We have 4 lines of code. DB utilities. FS means file system. As of now, so we are going to handle the file system data. File system data means it is unstructured data, right? Unstructured data means file system data. For example, if you are trying to read the SQL related data, the way of syntax is different. Syntax is different for blob storage, and this syntax is different for ADLS Gen 2, and this syntax is different for SQL Server. If you are trying to access the Cosmos DB, the syntax is different. MongoDB syntax is different. Synapse syntax is different, right? Every source having the dedicated syntax. We need to follow the syntax. Just we are going to copy the main syntax here and just paste the according to our need. Just try to change according to our need. Okay. 1 minute, guys. I will back within 1 minute. Yeah, sorry guys. Right, right, right. Okay. So this code is belongs to create the mount point for the source data, right? So we have a dedicated source data container, right? This container having this CSV data, right? CSV data. While creating the mount point, if you see DB utilities means uh, for accessing the keys, right? While moving the data, while copy the data from source to destination, right? For delete the data, right? Create the folders, right? We have the separate commands available. Those are comes under DB utilities. Next, we have the FS. FS means file system. Right now, we are handling the file system data, right? File system data means unstructured data. CSV data, Parquet data, AVR data, JSON data, those data which is comes under the file system data means unstructured data, right? That's why we mention as FS. Here we are performing the mount. Mount means which data we are going to refer it. We have the multiple containers, right? We have the multiple containers, source data, target data, right? Our agenda is to read the data from the source data, right? Source data. Okay. For reading the source data, we need to create the dedicated mount point, right? So next we need to specify the source, right? Okay. So this syntax is this syntax is fixed for the to connect the blob storage, but we need to modify the storage account name and container name and uh, this secret scope name and blob key. So right, this is the storage account name, storage account name, storage account name, storage account. You need to give the storage account name here, storage account. Next, we need to pass the container. Next, we need to specify the container, right? Storage account. Let me copy the storage account name. Go to resources. Our storage account name is databricks account SVD. Copy the storage account name and paste the and two places. Paste it, select it, and paste it. And next we need to give the container name. Let me go and copy the container name under the containers. So we are trying to create the dedicated mount point for the source data, right? Let me copy the container name, source data, copy, and paste the, instead of container name, we need to paste the container name. Next, container, right? Container. Okay, right. Next, extra configuration. Extra configurations means we need to pass the some sensitive information. Obviously, earlier we are already stored that sensitive information into the keyword, right? Those information we need to pass here, right? Already I created AKV connect. I just mentioned is AKV connect name and blob key. Blob key means in the keyword. Let me go to the keyword under the secrets. So our secret name is blob key. Let me copy this blob key name and paste here. Our key is blob key and scope is AKV connect. Few minutes back we created one secret scope, right? That name I have pasted here, right? I will explain. For example, in real time, definitely we have multiple secret scope names. For getting the multiple secret scope names, we need to give the DB utilities commands. We'll discuss later. We have separate dedicated session for this DB utilities commands. Okay, right. I will explain in details for this WSBS, right? For source mount, we'll discuss later, right? Let me run this cell. Slowly, we'll explain one by one. I will explain one by one, right? It throwing error. Means secret does not exist with the scope, right? AKV connect and blob key. It throwing an error. Okay, right. Let me check it whether it having the we have the DB utilities commands available to check AKV connection. I guess we give an AKV connection, right? Right. So if you click on this cell, there is an option called run cell. Run cell means this cell is going to execute it. Particular cell is going to execute it. If you click on the run all above, right? Above entire the cells are going to execute it. Run all below means below cells all are going to execute it, right? All are executed, right? If you click on this option, there is an option called run cell. Or else, you can give the shortcut shift enter. Shift enter. Please click on this dedicated cell, and just click on the shift enter. Shift enter. Shift enter. Right? Shift enter. Now our cluster is interrupt mode. It will take some time to out. It will take some time to out. Right? True. True means we are successfully creating the mount point. We are successfully creating the mount point to read the data from. Before reading the data from the source data, we are successfully connection will be established. We are successfully the connection successfully established. The next step is we need to read the data from source data. We need to read the source data into the databricks. For this we need to write the Spark code. For this, we need to write the Spark code. Spark code means, so we need to know about the data frames. Data frames. We have a concept called data frames. With the help of data frames, we are going to read the structured data, unstructured data. Unstructured data means CSV data, Parquet data, AVRO data, JSON data, unstructured data. Structured data means SQL data. SQL data, right? Hadoop is mainly designed for unstructured data, right? Unstructured data. I think Hadoop is mainly, I forgot it. I think any one of the structure or unstructured, I forgot it. But Spark mainly designed for structured and unstructured data. Both. It supported both structured data and unstructured data. Structured data and unstructured data. Right? Here we are performing the unstructured data. For unstructured data. For this, we need to create the data frame. Data frame. Right? Tomorrow we'll discuss in detail about these data frames. Okay. What is data frame? Right? So before the data frame, what are the things we need to keep in mind while writing the data frame, right? How many ways to create the data frame? There are 5 ways we can create the data frame based upon the business need, right? Most of the thing we are going to create the third one only, spark.read.format.option.load. This is the common thing which we are doing every day, right? Third one. Sometimes which the first one also preferred and the last one also preferred, right? Mostly we'll see the labs third and first. Okay. There are multiple ways to create the data frames to handle the structured data, unstructured data. Structured data and unstructured data. We'll see tomorrow these things and all, right? Okay. Right. After that, we'll jump into the same today's topic, right? We'll write the data frames and read the data from the source data, and write the data into target data. For target data also, we need to create one mount point. This mount point is dedicated for source data, right? Source data, right? Let me comment it. Source data, right? Create mount point for source data container, right? I mentioned comments. Okay, let me copy this and paste here and one more cell for creating target data mount point, target data container, right? Here just change this container name, target data. Copy and paste. Let me cross verify whether name is correct or not. Target data. Copy the name. Paste. Run the cell. right? Successfully, we are able to connect our destination means target data. Target data. Let me read the data for today, and tomorrow onwards we'll discuss remaining things in that. Okay. Just now I copy one data frame. Let me open another new cell and paste here. No worries, guys. I will explain in each and everything in every day. Okay. Right. This code is belongs to create the data frame. To create the data frame, create the data frame to handle unstructured data, to handle unstructured data, to handle unstructured data. For this, we need to write the Spark code, right? We need to write the Spark code, because Databricks designed mainly for Spark-based analytics workloads, right? Workloads. Write the Spark code. Read the CSV data. Read the CSV data, right? DF means it is a variable. DF is a variable. DF is a variable, right? Variable. Okay. We are going to store these things into one variable, right? DF is a variable, right? It is a value, right? Left side, it is a variable. Right side, it is a value. For example, if you see any programming languages, just a equal to 10. A equal 10 means A is a variable. A is a variable. 10 is a value. Just we are going to assign the 10 into A, right? A having the 10 value, right? A having the 10 value. A means it is a variable. Same like DF is a variable. DF is a variable. Here in the right side, we are writing the logic for reading the data for source CSV data. So we are going to handle the Spark related code, right? Pyspark related code. Here I am writing the Pyspark code related. Here I am writing the Pyspark code related, right? Spark dot read. Here we are performing read operation. Read format. Which format we are trying to handle? Whether it is CSV, Parquet, AVRO, JSON, right? Or Delta Lake. We need to specify the format. Next option is header, comma 2. Header means every table having this header, right? If you see the source data, if you open the CSV file, we have the header, right? Header means columns, right? Player ID, player name, player highest score, number of matches, right? Right. This is the header. It having the data. Right? But to get the header, we need to specify the into programmatically. That's why mention as an option has header. Header means true. Next option, schema true. As of now, no need this option. I will explain this option later, because per performance level, we are able to see some issues if you specify the infer schema. I will explain for this option later. Next load. Where is your data available? Our data is available under the mount point source data. Under source data, our data is available. Let me copy this. Source data, and paste here, and okay, right? Next variable dot show. DF is a variable. This variable having this logic, right? This code. DF having this code, right? We are reading the data, right? DF dot show. Show means is going to display. Shift enter. Right? We are able to successfully read the data into the Databricks. Databricks. Keep in mind, for example, in the source data, we are having the multiple CSV file, right? You need to specify the file name also. You need to specify the file name here. Okay, right? So we'll see, for example, for writing the notebooks in real time, we are not going to specify the any file name, right? Those file names are comes under dynamically. We'll see later. Okay, right. Shift enter means it is a shortcut to execute the particular cell. Shift enter, shift plus No need to select it. Plus just shift enter. Shift enter. Right? To execute, to execute particular cell. Particular cell. Right? Particular cell. Right. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? No worries. I will explain each and everything in every day. Every day. We are keep on trying to talk about all those things. Slowly you will get the all those things. Okay. Yes. Yes, Shrikant.
Yes, Shravan, right now we don't have any questions on that, but we need to practice on that. Once we get the practice on, we know that any
Yes.
questions on, right?
Right.
Because
Sure.
today's
Sure. Definitely. Definitely.
Hi, bro. Actually, I have doubt.
Yes, please.
Can we read the data for from source to destination without creating key vault?
Yes. Yes. But um, we have a option. We have the separate dedicated code for that. But every resource having some sensitive information, right? If you see this key source container, so let me click on this container. There is an option called access keys, right? We need to paste this key into the databricks. We need to paste the key into the databricks code. For providing the your sensitive key information into the notebook, it will be going to visible to for everyone, right? In real time, we are going to share our notebooks to multiple team members at multiple some across projects also, right? So our code is going to visible, right? Our sensitive information is going to visible, right? So for these reasons, every project, 100%, we are going to store those sensitive information into the keyword. Okay. Yes, we can. Yes, without keyword also we can read it. We can create the mount point, we can read it. Any questions? Hope you got right.
Yeah, yes, bro.
Any other questions?
We cannot store the data in Databricks. Just only reading.
Yes. No. We have a option. We have a dedicated storage available in Databricks. So yesterday we already discussed like Hadoop having the HDFS. Hadoop having the HDFS means Hadoop file system, temporary file system. In Databricks also having the temporary storage, that is DBFS. That is DBFS means Databricks file system. Databricks file system, right? We have a separate options available for DBFS, Databricks file system. I will show you later. Even we can upload the CSV files into DBFS. We can read the files from the DBFS. DBFS supports multiple sources, multiple destinations.
Okay.
Any other questions? In real time, 95%, we are going to read the data from different sources, maybe ADL Gen2, Blob storage, right? Azure SQL, Synapse, Cosmos DB, other APC. But those are direct. Those are to create the mount point, to read the data and write the data. But sometimes 5%, there is a 5% chance we are going to connect through DBFS to read the data and write the data. Okay. Most of the labs I will conduct this way only. Okay.
Yeah. And Shravan, where we will see mount points in Databricks, how we will identify the.
Yes, we have the separate. We have separate dedicated session for. We have the DB utilities commands. DB utilities command. So for this DB utilities commands, we can check how many mount points available in this notebook, right? How to create the mount point, what are the things are active, right? If you want to unmount, yes, we have the command which is available, right?
Okay.
Those things are comes under DB utility session.
And we will created mount points is a unique, or we will created duplicates also?
No, only one time activity. Mount point means one time activity. For example,
Okay.
we already created mount point for the source data.
Oh,
If you are trying to execute again this cell, it throwing an error because it's already mount point is created. Right? Now, see, it's showing an error. For this, you need to uncomment the code.
okay.
Okay. Control slash means you can just select the entire code, and control slash means it is going to comment the entire code. Control slash. No worries. I will explain each and everything. Control slash. Even shortcuts also.
Yeah. I think other team members also should be use that mount points, no?
Right.
Mount point.
Right. This is one-time activity.
Yeah.
One-time activity.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, for mount point creation, we are right source for one code and destination one code, right?
Correct.
These two codes are Pyspark codes or
Pyspark code. Pyspark code only.
Pyspark.
Pyspark code only. Here we are writing the Pyspark code related code only. Pyspark.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Shravan, at a time we will read 2 or 3 files also.
Yes. Not only 2 or 3 files, we can read multiple files.
I think we will provide file names only in comma separated.
No, in real time, we are not going to specify the file names. Everything we are able to get the dynamical.
Okay.
Right? You will come to know. Slowly.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever you are developing the notebook, right? It should be generic. It should be everything you need to write generic logic. No need to write any hard-coded stuff and all. Right? We are going to share this notebook into multiple team members. Right? They are just we have the separate widget concept is available, guys. Widgets. So if you are in a project, real-time project, if you open notebook, directly first you are able to see the widgets. Widgets means here we are having some text box. Okay, right. So just we are giving the details. For example, I want to see this particular table, particular data. I have a customer table. Let me give the customer table name in text box, and another widget have available like another text box. Just I have two text boxes here, right? One text box just I'm giving the table name, and one text box just I'm passing the date, today, date like year, month, date. If I give the table name and date, month, year, just I run this notebook, I'm able to get the particular table related particular date wise data. So everything should be dynamically. Right? For this, we need to write the generic code. This code is generic one. This code is generic one. For example, some of the projects, they are using storage account, normal blob storage. If you have a data which is available in blob storage, if you are trying to read the data from the databricks, this code is common. It is a generic one. It is generic. If you are in real-time project, you are working on a storage account, blob storage, to read data from into the databricks, right? This mount point is generic. It is common for every project. If you go for any project, so you need to just modify the storage account name and content and mount point. And if you have dedicated any scopes and keys, you need just to modify it. Okay. Any other questions? So we will discuss more than 20 plus real-time use cases in our course. 20 plus real-time use cases. Those real-time use cases common for every project. Every project. And we'll implement the same concepts in project as well. In weekends, we have project, right, for ADF and ADV, Pyspark SQL, right? We'll implement these things as well. High level implementation. Any other questions? Almost reached the time. Yes, please.
To read the data, we have to write a Pyspark code only, or else we can write any other like SQL.
Pyspark code. Pyspark.
If the source is like table format, in that case also we have to write in Pyspark code only.
Your wish. Your wish. But most of the business demand will go for Pyspark only. For example, if your source is structured data, the mount point syntax is different. The mount point is syntax different. Okay, right. Once the mount point is created, same like here also we need to write the Pyspark code for read the data. For example, to read the data from the Pyspark code, it is common. Almost it is common. Just you need to specify the format and mount point name, load name. I will explain.
Okay, thank you.
We have dedicated session for that Azure SQL to read the data into the database. And also we have dedicated session for Cosmos DB, MongoDB, right? And ADLS Gen 2 also, and DBFS also. As of now, any questions, any doubts, any challenges, any difficulty? I request to everyone, please ping in chat. Any questions? No questions? No? Others?